What is up, guys? JT Anime and Nerd here, bringing you all that nerdy goodness. Today we continue the story of Fantasia Adventures with episode 3. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get on with the episode. 16 years earlier, on the planet Montresor, a party is being held for Jim, who has just graduated from the Royal Navy Academy. As people dance in celebration, Jim looks out his window to see a visage of a familiar face, only for what appears to be a shining star in the visage's eye. However, Jim then notices that the star is begins to fall all toward the wasteland, and until a huge flash of light explodes, being able to be seen and noticed by the partygoers. Moments later, Jim, his mother Sarah, and their friends Delbert and Amelia are in a small ship to look for the fallen star. After hours of searching, Sarah would spot a small crater in the middle of the wastelands, covered in smoke from the impact. The group lands and steps out of the ship, only for Sarah to hear a familiar sound, the sound of a baby crying. Following her maternal instincts, Sarah immediately runs toward the crying, much to Jim's protest. The moment Jim catches up with his mother, he finds that she's holding a white-haired baby boy, seeming to be a newborn, who has stopped crying thanks to Sarah's comfort in holding him. A baby? From my perspective, a little miracle. Jim looks around, finding no source of travel that the baby could have been in. No vessel debris. How could he have survived? I'm not sure, but that's why I call it a miracle. Sarah then notices a name on the blanket he's wrapped in. Jack. That must be his name. That's the name I would have given your brother if you had one. But then your father left. Jim looks at Sarah with a worried expression. Amelia and Delbert then walk up to the two. But maybe it's not a coincidence we found this little one. Sarah, what exactly are you getting at? Asked Amelia. Surely we can consult the orphanage. I mean, we just found him in the middle of nowhere, Delbert said. Mom, are you sure? I'm sure. Sarah strokes her hand over the baby's hair, watching him sleep soundly. Something just tells me. The baby grabs Sarah's hand and hugs it as he sleeps with a smile on his face. That Jack's gonna change our lives forever. Back in present day, a 16-year-old Jack and his pet Stitch are staring down Maleficent and her familiar remnants that stand beside and behind her. You certainly invoked my fury this day. So from here on out, Maleficent releases her magic barrier and looks up at the duo with a sinister and deranged smile on her face. You shall know the forefront of my wrath. Maleficent then raises her right hand, pointing her index finger directly at Jack. Jack then shows a confused expression, wondering what exactly Maleficent is doing. Emerald flame! Arrow! In the blink of an eye, a dark green flame emerges from the tip of Maleficent's finger, exploding upon impact at Jack. Maleficent laughs, believing that she had a direct hit. However, as the smoke clears, we see that Jack had blocked the spell with the flat of his greatsword, Excalibur. Jack looks from behind his sword with a slightly comical expression of fear. I'm not just seeing things, am I, pal? Naga. I must commend you for your quick instinct. I highly doubt your actions were anything related to thought, but even so, you have yet to grasp my true power. Jack and Stitch enter their fighting stances. Throw as much as you want at us. We won't let you reach Bembo. Benbow? Ah, the town you are protecting. I assure you, your self-confidence is misplaced. Maleficent then begins generating an aura of dark green flames around her body. Beings born of darkest hour, to you I grant this bane of power! Maleficent releases her dark green aura of flames, causing it to enwrap the surrounding familiars. Enchant! Dark advance! Maleficent's familiars begin to notice a change in their bodies, with one pig familiar showing a smiling expression at this new power. The familiars then transform into muscular versions of themselves, with their abilities enhanced by Maleficent's enchantment. Now, center line, destroy that, and with your new power! Maleficent's empowered familiars charge at Jack and Stitch. Jack and Stitch look on at the charging army with serious expressions. Jack and Stitch then smile as the army gets closer. Ready, Stitch? Ugh, time to show them. Jack and Stitch then charge on to take the center line army head on. What we can really do! Back on the spaceport planet of Crescentia, the battle between the Space Rangers of Star Command and Zurg's Hornets rage on. As he flies through the air, Buzz continues blasting Zurg's Hornets and destroying them one by one. Rocket, Crockett, and Fop Doppler are backing Buzz up, helping him destroy many of Zurg's Hornets. I must say this is becoming quite the conundrum. So what do you suggest we do, Fop? Because if you have any suggestions, we're all ears. That's enough. The commander's counting on us. Remember why you became Space Rangers in the first place. It was for fame and fortune at first, but then I learned what it meant to be a true ranger. For me, it was just to marry Mira. Then I learned just how amazing it felt to be a ranger. Since then, I've not only wanted to make myself proud, but my family proud as well. Besides, I've got nieces and nephews that look up to me. I wouldn't be a very good ranger if I disappointed them. That's the spirit. Keep it. Suddenly, from Zurg's dreadnought, Warp Dark Matter exits an entrance door, flying in the direction of planet Montresor itself. Buzz then spots Warp heading off planet, much to his curiosity. Crockett, Doppler, watch my six. I'm going after Warp. But, Buzz, was not the commander's orders to protect the town? When Agent Z's active, it's always a plot that one can't afford to ignore. In a rush, Buzz flies toward Warp. Buzz, wait! Buzz closes in on Warp and fires his laser, only for Warp to dodge by instinct. Warp then faces Buzz while holding the ancient staff given to him by the boy with yellow hair. Well, 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 if it isn't to infinity and beyond himself. What are you up to, Warp? You're not usually one to run away from a fight. Oh, Lightyear, people change, at least in this case. Either way, I'm not letting you go this time, traitor. Warp Dark Matter then and boosts his jetpack to the fullest, trying to escape Buzz while making a game out of it. Buzz pursues, attempting to equal Warp speed. Can't be a traitor if I was never with you in the first place. Hate to fly off, but I got places to be. Not today, Warp. As he chases after Warp, Buzz begins shooting lasers at him, with Warp dodging each one as the chase rages on. What's wrong? Losing your touch, Lightyear? Meanwhile, Crockett and Fop were pursuing Buzz and Warp, moving at the fullest speed they could muster from their jetpacks. Lightyear, stop! You're going off planet! Rocket shouts. Something's afoot, Crockett. It's as if he's being lured out, Fop explains. Meanwhile, in Zurg's dreadnought, Zurg and the boy with yellow hair look at the monitor, viewing the chase after dark matter on the battlefield. My, this is just too grand. Grubs, fire the dreadnought cannon! Yes, Evil Emperor, said Grub number 1. The grubs on Zurg's ship begin typing on their ship consoles, preparing the cannon to fire. From the front of the dreadnought, the cannon emerges. As Warp looks back, he sees the cannon, realizing what he needs to do. Suddenly, Warp taps into the temporary power of the staff he's wielding, and casts a spell from it, one that summons a serpentine black dragon made from dark magical energy. Stunned, Buzz reacts and can only try to block the attack, only for it to phase through him and disappear, this having no effect on Buzz. Back in the dreadnought, a screen shows that the cannon's targeting system is locked onto Buzz. Dreadnought cannon ready to fire, Evil Emperor, said Grub 2. Well, don't just sit there. Fire it! Grub number 2 presses a button, causing the cannon to release an energy blast aimed straight for a confused Buzz. Crockett and Fop notice, but it has yet to catch Buzz's attention. Buzz, behind you! Rocket zooms ahead at full speed while Fop can only watch in surprise. Rocket, wait! Just as Buzz looks behind him to see the energy blast a little too late, Crockett gets in the way, taking the blast head-on onto his left arm. Ah! Crockett then falls, seemingly unconscious. Roger! Warp then takes this chance to continue onto Montresor, flying as fast as he can away from the battlefield. Buzz, on the other hand, is zooming toward Crockett, hoping to save him from a deadly fall. Looks like you got a hero to save. Later, Lightyear, said Ed Warp. With swift action, Fob Doppler catches Crockett, saving him from a nasty fall. I've got him, Buzz. Good. Get him to a medic. I've got to catch up with Warp. But Buzz, look around. We need you here in this battle. If you leave now, I fear it for the worst, old chap. What more could we do against Zurg without you? Nebula's got this. Buzz then and looks up, spotting Nebula blasting through Hornets until he finally reaches the Dreadnought. Nebula then uses his laser to carve a door into the Dreadnought, allowing him to enter it to have a final face-off with Zurg. Buzz then shows a smile as he looks on at his commander. He's never let us down. Buzz then continues on with chasing after Warp, following him off-planet as Fop looks in worry. Wait! Captain Lightyear! Back at Montresor at the Benbow Inn, Jim and Amelia are about to enter Jim's scout ship. Meanwhile, Sarah holds Jim's hands and looks into his eyes with an expression of worry. Don't worry. We'll bring them back. They're okay. I can feel it. Sarah then hugs Jim, ready to see him off. Meanwhile, Amelia is poking out of the side door, trying to set in the fact that they need to move quickly. You be careful out there, and bring those boys home. We'll find them. Both of them. Jim, Mr. Hawkins, we must hurry. I know. I'm coming. Jim and Amelia take off, with their loved ones waving them goodbye and good luck. Back in the wastelands, Jack and Stitch are struggling to defeat the empowered familiars of Maleficent. Jack swings Excalibur, having darkness be released from the familiar's wound. However, the wound instantly closes, with the familiar successfully recovering unlike their frontline brethren. Stitch also continues to shoot at the familiars, but they all seem to be able to defend themselves from the plasma musket blasts. For the first time in this fight, the familiars are fighting Jack and Stitch on equal footing. Jack continues parrying multiple familiars' attacks, while Stitch keeps shooting and utilizing his own strength simultaneously. Meanwhile, Maleficent looks on, confident in her victory. Your defeat is all but assured. Once your life reaches its end, your bond with the blade shall be severed, and its power will be mine to mold as I see fit. It's only natural, as I am destined to rule all that I survey, while you, young one, will die an unremembered death. This fate, of course, is reserved for any who dare to defy my rule, as applies to any within that town you're fighting so pointlessly to protect. In response to Maleficent's words, Jack reacts in anger, swiftly and masterfully pushing back the familiars. Maleficent smiles at the sight of Jack and Stitch trying so hard, believing that they're destined to fail. Your prowess with a blade is impressive, but in the end it takes more than a magic sword to win the battle. From the top of a nearby rock formation, Sunny is looking down, witnessing his closest friends in the fight of their lives. Sunny looks down at the battle with an expression of fear. Oh man, just what should I do? What can I do? Sunny looks on as he continues to see Jack pushing back the familiars with all of his might, while Stitch is also succeeding in knocking down many familiars. Jack, you were always the brave one. A flashback shows a young Sunny being pushed down to the ground as he's being picked on by bullies in town. Ha! Little nerd! Number 1 is then shown to be holding a prototype of some kind of machine that Sunny was building. Your project got me last place in the science fair. Now I'm going to show you what happens when you don't stay in your lane. Yeah, stay in your lane, said Bully 2. Bully 1 then smashes the device on the ground, saddening Sunny. No! That was my prototype generator! Oh, well now it's trash for the cleanup crew, Bully 1 replied. Bully 1 and Bully 2 then begin to laugh hysterically. Bully 1 then grabs Sunny by his shirt collar. You're just a wannabe joke. Look, with a boar for a dad. And now I'm gonna show you what do to nerds in my town. As Bully 1 prepares to punch Sonny, someone else decides to punch Bully 1 in the face, knocking him backwards. Bully 2 catches him before Bully 1 can fall to the ground. You okay, man? Bully 1 aggressively gets out of Bully 2's hold. Hey, just who in the craters are you? We then see none other than a young Jack, helping Sonny stand up. Young Jack then turns to the bully with a serious expression on his face. I'm someone who doesn't like bullies. Oh yeah? How about a knuckle sandwich? Lucky for you. Young Jack then pulls out a wooden sword from the back of his pants, smiling at the chance to take down some bullies. I like knuckle sandwiches. Jack and Bully 1 charge at each other with everything they've got, as Sonny and Bully 2 look on in shock at what's about to go down. Moments later, Bully 1 and young Jack are heavily bruised, shown to have held nothing back. Young Jack stands up, still itching for a fight, causing Bully 1 to look at Jack in slight fear. Why won't you stay down? Just what are you made of? In response, young Jack stands tall. That's simple. Young Jack then points his wooden sword at Bully 1 with a smile on his face. I'm made of determination, something you guys don't have. Bully 1's expression transitions from fear to anger, as he doesn't enjoy the thought of losing to someone else. Before the fight could continue, however, Stitch jumps in and begins roaring and growling like a wild animal, scaring the bullies. Ah! Monster! It's a furry blue monster! The bullies run away in defeat, scared to even face Stitch. Stitch then wipes the foam off his face, ending the ruse. Good job, pal. Although you took your sweet time, Stitch got lost. Only been on planet 2 days. Young Jack and Stitch have a short laugh about the conversation, only for young Jack to look back and notice Sonny picking up the pieces of his generator. Young Jack walks up to Sonny, wondering something. You okay? Yeah, thanks. You don't sound too happy. This generator took me weeks to build, and finding the right parts took me months. I worked so hard on it. Oh, what was it for? In case you haven't noticed, the town of Bemba has been having power outages lately. Things haven't been the same since those pirates raided the town. It's because of them the town's money's so low to afford even in the biggest scraps of food. So I thought I'd make them a new generator, so they could get electricity for free. I know I don't live here, but this town is like my second home. It was where my father grew up, and I want to help the people in it however I can, just like my father has with his donations ever since those pirates attacked. So what you're saying is that this machine will power the whole town? Yep, for years to come, and they won't have to spend a single cent. What are you sulking around for? Sonny then looks up at Jack with an expression of curiosity. You want to help the town, right? Make everyone smile? Then you can't give up. When you have a dream, you pursue it. If you can't find all the parts yourself, then we'll help you. Ugh. Just gotta promise to not look like a sad sack the whole time. Never forget to smile. You'd be surprised how far a smile can take you. Just, who are you? Oh, right. This is Stitch. Hi. Sonny continues to look up at Jack, still showing an expression of curiosity. As for me, well, young Jack then extends his right hand at Sonny to help him up. You said your dad's name was... What was your dad's name again? Oh, I didn't mention it earlier. It's Delbert Doppler. Ah, I thought you looked familiar. That means you and me are cousins. I live at the Benbow Inn. Call me Jack. Sonny's curious expression then turns from curiosity to one of awe, hardly believing that someone as selfless as Jack exists. Sonny then grabs Jack's hand, signifying their friendship for years to come. Back in the present, Sunny continues to look down from the rock formation, witnessing the battle while lost in thought. You always stood by my dreams.
But why? Why do you want to help me?
Said at a young Sunny's voice.
Why?
Asked the young Jack. Sunny then pictures a young Jack smiling way back when they were kids after meeting for the first time.
Because I want to help you find your smile again.
Suddenly, Maleficent senses something from up above. It's then shown that Sunny is using his portable solar sailor to crash into a few familiars, succeeding in knocking a few of them down.
Sunny?
Maleficent looks up, annoyed at the appearance of another distraction.
How irritating. Center line! Blast him out of the sky!
The empowered familiars begin to shoot dark green fireballs at Sunny, who successfully dodges them with quick instinct. Meanwhile, Jack and Stitch cover Sunny, not willing to just stand around while their friend gets attacked.
You can hurt us all you want.
Maleficent looks on in surprise as Jack and Stitch begin to push through the familiars in order to reach Maleficent.
But we won't let you hurt our friend! Nada baba!
Maleficent is conflicted on whom to aim her army at, but then closes her eyes.
Very well. Focus all efforts on killing the boy and his pet!
Meanwhile, Sunny is diving down toward the battlefield.
I don't think so! Stitch!
Stitch looks up at Sunny in curiosity. Sunny then reaches his hand out to signify something.
Grab Jack and then grab me while jumping in the opposite direction!
Stitch then does as Sunny instructs by grabbing Jack and jumping in the opposite direction of the army of familiars. Stitch then grabs Sunny, leaving his portable solar sailor to head directly for the center line of Maleficent's army. Maleficent and the familiars look up in curiosity, wondering what their plan could be. In a flash, the portable solar sailor hits an empowered familiar, causing the solar sailor to explode on impact with a combination of solar power and jet fuel, creating a humongous explosion, one that Stitch has a hard time getting away from in midair. Meanwhile, as Jim and Amelia are searching the wastelands for the boys, they notice the explosion in the distance. It's coming from the west side of the wastelands.
Hold on to your hats.
Amelia then has the ship jet toward the explosion.
We've got kids to save.
Back at the battlefield, Stitch lands on the ground and lets Jack and Sunny down. Jack, Stitch, and Sunny look at the smoke, hoping that the last resort would finally finish the fight. Do you think that did it?
It should. That was enough jet fuel and solar power to blow up half of Benbow.
Jack then looks at Sunny with a slightly frightened expression.
Since when does a solar sailor have that much power? Cut me some slack, it was a prototype.
Although overtaxing the solar sail may have been a tad excessive, Stitch sighs in agreement. Suddenly, a humongous wind dissipates the smoke, revealing Maleficent to be at the center of it while also being surrounded by her last line of familiars. The wind extends from the battlefield, eventually reaching Jim and Amelia's ship, causing them to get pushed back.
What's going on? Is that a burst of wind?
Asked Jim.
Impossible. Montresa's environment cannot produce such a volatile burst of air. Something must have generated it.
Amelia responds.
You mean something or someone is causing this?
Asked Jim.
I don't have any other rational explanation, so it's safe to assume so. Hang on!
Amelia responds. Amelia goes at full speed, doing her best to get to the west side of the wastelands. Back at the battlefield, Jack, Stitch, and Sunny look on in shock, as Maleficent and her reserved forces appear to have survived the blast, but her center line has not. Maleficent clenches her fists, looking at Jack and company in seething anger.
How? How could mere children obliterate a majority of my army?
Maleficent then looks down at her hands.
You shall pay. This may expend my remaining mana, but it matters not. I'll wipe you and your town off the face of this world!
Maleficent then stretches her arms out, beginning to once again radiate a dark green aura of magical energy.
Darkness bound to the world, come hither. Grant thee a boon and bind my servants together. Enchant Familiar Fusion!
Maleficent's remaining familiars then look upon themselves, as their bodies begin to revert into a dark magical energy. The familiars are then pulled into the air in their dark elemental form, binding together to create a black mass of dark magical energy. The mass of dark energy gets bigger until it begins to form a new body. Jack and company look on in shock as what appears to be a giant empowered version of Maleficent's pig familiar stands before them, towering above them like a force of nature. As Jim and Amelia get closer after the wind died down, they too witness the terrifying sight of the giant familiar.
What in the cosmos' name
Is that? Amelia and Jim's ship are nearing the battlefield.
some kind of giant pig?
Meanwhile, a familiar foot can be seen at the top of a nearby rock formation, revealing himself to be Warp. Well, well, looks like I stumbled upon a small group having their own playtime on this planet. Warp then spots Maleficent. That's gotta be the mistress the kid spoke of. Guess I better return to sender. Warp then flies down to the battlefield, catching the attention of Maleficent, Jack, and Jack's friends. Warp lands in front of Maleficent, much to her curiosity.
Another pest to stand in my way?
Maleficent then looks in surprise as she spots a familiar staff in Warp's hands.
My staff! Return it to me at once, accursed interloper!
No need for name-calling, your mistressness. Warp then tosses the staff to Maleficent, much to her enjoyment. I represent a man named Emperor Zurg, who's heard a lot about you.
I see. Then the only way you could have gotten this staff is if he placed a release seal on it. Very well. I'm very much open to meeting this Emperor Zurg you speak of.
He'll be here shortly to pick us up. Till then, I might just want to see what sh- what show you're going to put on this planet.
Very well. So shall be your reward. My mighty familiar! Destroy them!
After minutes of silence, the familiar finally reacts, ready to destroy Jack and company. However, a laser blast then hits the familiar giant in the eye. Maleficent and Warp then look as they see that at the one who shot the laser is none other than Buzz Lightyear, who's just arrived in the nick of time. Not today, evildoers!
Another interference?
Nothing I haven't handled before. Leave Lightyear to me.
As you wish.
Warp flies up to eat with Buzz, smiling at him with sinister glee. Sorry, Lightyear, but you're gonna have to get through me to stop that big beastie. Why are you on Montressor? And what is that thing? Why are children involved in this? Hey, I'm as much in the dark about what's going on in Montressor as you. I've already accomplished my mission. That staff you were holding. Buzz then looks down to see Maleficent, holding the staff. It belongs to her? Ding ding ding, right on the money. It was originally just a heist, but it grew into something more. And with her help, the universe is as good as Zurg's. Just as the money is as good as mine. By the way, how's Crockett doing? Buzz is then angered at Warp's words. Guess he must have taken a nasty fall if you had to come all the way here to settle things. Enraged, Buzz charges at Warp, ready to fight. Warp! Meanwhile, the giant familiar creates a giant sword with dark magic and begins to lift it up for an attack. Just then, another energy blast hits the giant familiar in the eye, revealing that Jim and Amelia have arrived. Amelia then looks down to see Jack, Stitch, and Sunny all together.
The boys are down there!
Amelia then steers the ship toward Jack and company, while Maleficent's anger begins to rise.
I grow tired of these petty interruptions.
Maleficent then uses her staff to summon black thorns from the ground, attempting to enwrap Jim's ship with them. Jack and company then look to see their family members in danger.
Jim! Mother!
Maleficent then looks at her staff in awe.
It appears with my artifice returned, my mana is recovering faster than normal. Excellent, Maleficent says.
Maleficent then looks in Jack's direction as Jack, Stitch, and Sunny, with his gadget wrench, begin to cut let the thorn vines down, allowing Jim and Amelia to get free, but crash into the ground. Meanwhile, the familiar giant recomposes itself, looking down at Jack and company as they head to the ship to see if Jim and Amelia are okay. Amelia and Jim exit the smoking ship, with Sunny running up to hug Amelia, while Jack runs up to see if Jim is okay.
Mother! Oh, thank goodness you're all right. Jim, you good?
I've been better. What's going on?
What's with the new sword and the giant monster?
Jack then looks up with a worried expression on his face.
I don't think we're gonna have time to explain.
The giant familiar is shown to be raising his blade again, this time with no interruption. In the midst of their battle, Buzz notices Jack and company in danger, and so attempts to fly off to help them.
No!
Warp then blasts his arm cannon directly at Buzz's jetpack, stopping Buzz from flying any further. Warp then pins Buzz down, forcing him to watch as innocent people are about to die. Sorry, Lightyear, but even you have to learn you can't save everyone. Buzz looks on in horror, fearing the worst for Jack and company. As the giant familiar swings down his giant sword, Jack has a moment of reflection. A short flashback shows a lone young Jack crying in the town of Bembo, as it is surrounded by flaming debris and destroyed buildings. Just then, a group of pirates begin to approach Jack from behind with sinister smiles on their face.
Well, looky here, boys. It seems we got compensation after all. What do you think the mines will pay for such a young one?
Suddenly, young Jack's cries of sorrow turns to a grunt of anger, as young Jack picks up a wooden plank and hits the pirate captain over the head with it, showing an expression of hatred toward the pirate captain. The pirate captain gets up, his head slightly bleeding, and then looks at young Jack, whose eyes are filled with anger.
So you think you can get away with that, do ya? Boys, let's show 'em we mean business!
As the pirates begin to charge at him, young Jack closes his eyes. Back in the present, Jack decides to jump and charge head-on at the giant familiar's blade, ready to fight to the end to protect the people he loves. Everyone reaches out to try and stop Jack, until suddenly, a blue aura quickly shines from Jack, and a star from above gets in between Jack and the giant sword. The mysterious star then pushes back the giant familiar, having it begin to fall backwards, causing Maleficent to teleport away using her staff. The giant familiar then lands on its back from the counterattack. Jack then lands on his feet, but then begins to feel weakened. As Jack's friends run to him and to lend their aid, the mysterious star flies down to Jack.
It looks like you're okay. Glad I was able to make it in time.
Who are you? The mysterious star then lands on the ground, slowly beginning to take the form of a strange creature.
Not surprised. It did take a lot for you to awaken your mana. That's how I found you.
Mana? The mysterious star then begins to take the form of a somewhat familiar creature. Our heroes are then greeted by a humanoid mouse.
Nice to meet you. The name's Mickey Mouse, but all my friends call me Mickey.
To be continued. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and put down in the comment section below on what you guys thought of this episode. Also, don't forget to check out my new merch store linked in the description below and in the pinned comment below. With all that said and done, I'm JT Anime, and I'll check you guys later.